What's going on, guys? I'm going to show you what I've been doing lately, and I guess we'll talk about it as we go through it. So today my game plan is I have some like rendered fat and juice from my meal last night that we're going to use. In regards to the bulk of the meal, it's going to be, I got some lamb shoulder and I have some very yellow, amazing looking beef fat that we're going to throw on the grill. And there's no way I'm going to eat that much. I'm just going to, I left it out too long, so I'm just going to grill it all at once. And then we just have some salmon roe that you guys saw in my other video. I'll probably have a tablespoon or two of this. I'm going to eat these later. I got some beef testicles, but I'll do a separate video on that. And you guys are fucking, like, I thought I was crazy before I made this YouTube channel. And some of the stuff you guys tell me to do, I'm just like, you know, I've already crossed over the line, so there's no going back, right? But that beef fat, guys, you know, half of it looks good that I get, half of it doesn't. So most of it is like this is still good. It's not like super dark, like yellow carotenoid fat. Like, it's not all like that, and it never will be. Like, that's from certain parts of the animal, it stores more of the carotenoids. It's softer and stuff. So most of my fat is not as pleasant as this, and this is like, dude, this is so soft. It's so good. It's ridiculous. You know, best case scenario, this tastes like butterscotch. This actually tastes a bit like the packaging, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna throw this stuff on the grill real quick, just get it sear on the outside. And you know, one part of the reason I do that is because, you know, a lot of this stuff was packaged in plastic before, and it has this this off taste on the outside, as well as the factor of removing any cross-contamination bacteria problems. So although I do eat certain foods raw, for the most part, unfortunately, living in our modern world, it's not like I can just, I mean, I could pick up lambs and start breaking down my own animals, but guys, I'm crazy, I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna sit in my garage, sorting my guts out, getting attacked by flies with a saw, breaking down a lamb every day. I'm not doing that. Like, I don't care what you guys say, I'm not doing that. So this is what I'm doing now. So let's go outside and I'll show you guys my grill setup. So this is my own pillar of hell I have in my backyard. I take a gas grill, I laid some grates, some old grates on the burners, and I put a bunch of charcoal and wood on those grates, and this gets really hot. One time I accidentally left this closed, and it was well over 1,000 degrees in here. Safe to say, this is like a furnace. So guys, I do not condone doing this. I'm just showing you how I create a fire relatively quickly with high heat and good flavor. I got some cherry wood chunks in there with the charcoals for the heat, and even though I'm only going to grill this food for like a minute or two on each side, almost every day I got like 15-20 minutes of residual heat left on the grill. So I try to cook some stuff for my parents too, but it doesn't happen all the time. And word of warning, never put fat on a grill, and this is why. I mean, I like to have a little bit of flavor on the outside of the fat, but fat is literally fuel. It will literally ignite. See how fast this is burning? This will just engulf in flames completely if I leave it on for any longer. So that's all I do with the fat, and I like doing that first because it gets, you know, it lubricates the grates, it gets the flames going. So then I'll put the meat on, but this lamb is already so fatty that it's not really a concern. This is a lot of meat. I don't know what I'm doing with all this. I don't know if I could eat this in 2 days. Oh well. Oh guys, let me know if you want like a steak ASMR video where I'm just like 10 minutes of me flipping steaks. I don't know. I know it's windy out here. I'm sorry. I don't know how that's affecting the microphone right now. I'm assuming it is. But I try to be really careful with these lamb chops, because if I leave these on for like more than a minute or two on each side, they'll overcook past the point that I like them. So although I want to get as much flavor on the outside as possible, I'd rather have a little less flavor and have them raw in the middle. And I'm just going for like a little browning, guys, like nothing too crazy. Like, if you guys go on my Instagram and look at some of the crusts I've gotten on steaks in the past, I mean, that is like culinary excellence, but I don't do that every day. The amount of fat that I just cooked on the grill, that's actually probably not enough fat for this amount of muscle meat. Normally I would cook more fat. I guess I just went a little lighter than usual today. Usually I try to keep the fat really high so I'm satiated, and I save money too because the fat is cheaper. And sometimes, and like, I just killed the gas, but this fire will be hot for another hour or so. So it's literally, you know, it's so much wasted fuel, but you know, what are you gonna do? So actually, I completely forgot about this plate. So I'm gonna just throw this in the oven to warm it up, and we'll actually eat on this plate. This is actually unusual. I don't usually have a plate of like fat and juice like this, but what happened was, yesterday I accidentally left my food in the oven for like 2 hours, and it was really well done and well cooked. And that was actually the first time I've had well done meat in like 2 years. It was okay, but I didn't really enjoy it. But I had all this rendered fat and juice that I saved from it for today. So this is not usual, but this is just what I have today. So I haven't done a video yet on proper food storage, but I'll just do something real quick. For this beef fat, you could do two things. You could cut it into portions and refreeze it, or what I like to do is you could wrap it in paper towel and put it in the fridge if you don't want to use paper towel, because what the paper towel does is it forms like a really, and the paper towel is better for muscle meat. For this fat though, I would just take some plastic wrap it up as tight as you can, put it in the fridge, and go through it as quickly as possible, preferably within a week. I have my bowl of salmon roe, and this has been in my fridge for like 2 weeks now. I added a bit of salt to it so it wouldn't get too funky, and I don't think it's funky at all yet. And this is, I usually do this, so like I'll put my meat in the oven, I'll let it warm up for a bit more, and then I'll have like my liver or my salmon roe, or if I have a food that I don't really enjoy too much that I usually just swallow down, I'll do this first, like this. That is so tasty. Something about it sitting in the fridge for a week and a half and fermenting a little bit. The iodine flavor is reduced. It's really pleasant, almost has this sweet nuttiness to it. And this rich cholesterol-y texture. I have a whole video on salmon roe talking about it. That was, I think, last week. And this is literally, on its own, one of the tastiest things you could put in your mouth. It's insane. And it's literally the best food for you. Literally the highest amount of vitamin D3, fat-soluble vitamins, omega-3, DHA, super high in DHA, like 5 times higher than the next best food. And not only that, I mean, yeah, liver might have more vitamin A and vitamin C, but this is complete nutritional profile, A, C, D, E, K, and it's tasty. It has every, so many flavoral elements and complexities. It has saltiness from being seafood. It has an iodine flavor. It has this nuttiness from the richness of the cholesteroliness of the eggs. It has this salmon flavor. It's just so complex and extremely flavorful for an animal food. It's literally, you cut it out of a fish, and now you let it sit for a month or whatever, and the flavors change and transform, and it became even tastier sitting in my fridge. So who knows how much more complex the flavors will get if I actually let it ferment and rot over a longer period of time. Okay, so I don't think I want to film, I'm not going to film me eating this whole meal. It might take me like 10-15 minutes, but so here I have beef fat. I got this plate that's heated up, that's full of this is actually marrow fat and some steak juices. So what I'll do is, I'll take my steak, my lamb shoulder chop, I'll salt it, and this is a French Celtic salt. It's just one of the, I've tasted a couple different salts and I like this one the most. So I'll salt my steak, and then as you can see, the outside, there's a slight sear on the outside, but the inside is completely raw. That's usually what I go for. I get the flavor of the seared meat, but I also get the texture that I like of the raw meat. let me try this. Let me try this beef fat. So I don't know what's going on with the salt shaker. Sometimes this gets when it's really humid out. I gotta like dehydrate the salt again. It's a pain in the ass, but looks like I'm gonna have to. So it's a little bit of salt on that beef fat, and let's try it. I guess I should have tasted it raw. So beef fat always has a very subtle flavor when it's raw. So what happened was when I cooked it, now all I taste is like the flavor of the outside of the grill on the fat, and that's all I taste is like salt and charcoal. So not necessarily a bad thing, but when this is like raw and you eat it on its own, it's very mild. Of course, obviously very rich because it's fat, and it has this. Sometimes it has like a subtle, like nutty, grassy flavor. And if it's like the best quality, it'll literally taste like butterscotch. It's insane. I've had beef fat like that in some of my past videos, but I'm gonna get a cutting board to fix this up, and I'll go through my meal, and then I guess first we'll talk about. So we got all those vitamins from this row. This is mainly for calories, maybe more omega-3s, mostly just calories. The beef fat, same thing. You know, we're always going for just small amounts of all the fat soluble vitamins through eating like a large amount of high quality foods. So I'm gonna, particularly the beef fat is omega-3s and carotenoids, vitamin A, and then lamb, pretty much the same thing really. So small amounts of vitamin K2, but I'm gonna finish eating this, and then I guess we'll see how much I ate, and maybe we'll have another meal later today. I don't know. I didn't actually realize how many bones were in this. I literally bought I had like 2.5 pounds of these lamb shoulder chops, and literally I think I got over a pound of bones here. So I'm actually gonna end up going through all this, but. So overall, this is like half a pound of fat, maybe like 1.5 pounds of meat. This is usually around what I normally eat. Maybe I'll have like a little less of both most days, but for today, since I cooked all this, and it's a surprisingly less amount of meat than I thought it was.